the awful tiny piglet. In a world where chaos reigned and the unexpected was the norm, there existed a trio of wolves who were renowned for their exceptional bravery and cleverness. These were not your ordinary wolves, they were fat, and they wore their plumpness with pride. But what truly set them apart was their unwavering determination to confront the most feared creature in the forest, the awful tiny pig. Now, you might wonder why a tiny pig was so feared. It wasn't because of his size, but because of his penchant for chaos and mischief. The awful tiny pig had a knack for turning tranquility into turmoil, leaving a trail of confusion and frustration wherever he went. Undaunted by the tiny pig's reputation, the three fat wolves decided to take matters into their own paws. They believed that there was more to the tiny pig than met the eye, and they were determined to find out what lay beneath his chaotic exterior. Each of the fat wolves set about building their own house. The first wolf, known for his strength, constructed a sturdy house of bricks. The second, a master of the forest, built a house nestled among the trees. And the third, with his love for the earth, dug deep underground to create his dwelling. These houses were not just shelters, they were fortresses of resilience. When the awful tiny pig arrived, huffing and puffing as he always did, he was met with an unexpected sight. His huffs and puffs had no effect on the solid brick house, the treehouse high among the branches, or the secure underground dwelling. The tiny pig was astounded by the fat wolf's cleverness and determination. But what surprised the tiny pig even more was the kindness and empathy that radiated from the fat wolves. Instead of fearing or fighting him, they welcomed him with open arms. They offered him a seat by the fire and a place at their table. It was a gesture that touched the tiny pig's heart in a way he had never experienced before. As the days turned into weeks, the awful tiny pig began to change. He realized that the chaos and mischief he had once caused were born out of loneliness and a longing for connection. He yearned for friendship, something he had never truly known. The fat wolves, with their big hearts and even bigger bellies, showed the tiny pig the power of empathy and understanding. They forgave his past misdeeds and embraced him as a friend. In return, the tiny pig transformed his chaotic ways into acts of kindness and cooperation. The once chaotic forest began to change as well. The creatures who had once lived in fear and division now saw the beauty of unity and compassion. The forest became a harmonious sanctuary where all creatures, big and small, lived in peace and friendship. In this topsy-turvy world, even the tiniest of creatures could learn to mend their ways and discover the power of friendship. The three fat wolves and the once awful tiny pig became a symbol of hope and transformation. They showed the forest that compassion and unity could conquer fear and division. And so, in this enchanting forest where the unexpected was the norm, they all lived happily ever after, celebrating the beauty of their unusual but heartwarming friendship. It was a world where kindness had triumphed over chaos, where empathy had conquered fear, and where the unlikeliest of friendships had blossomed into something truly magical.